Good evening, I'm Bill Leger.
And I'm Kelly Phillips. Thank you for joining us. It's not necessarily against the law, but one way a Beaumont man transported his horse piqued the interest of Animal Services. The man said he was leading his horse to grass, but investigators question whether tying the horse to a moving car is the best way to move the animal. KFDM reporter Megan Dillard spoke with investigators and a veterinarian to see if the horse owner did anything wrong.
It started with this photograph.
In the photograph, the horse was moving, but we can't really tell how fast it was.
Supervisor Matthew Fortenberry says someone sent this picture to Beaumont Animal Services. Investigators say a man who lives at this home in the 4000 block of Harding was seen pulling a horse behind his car Monday near his home. We drove by and found the horse secured with a rope in the backyard.
We have located the owner and discussed it with him. He claimed he was not aware that he was committing any violations.
Animal Services has not charged the man with a crime, but Fortenberry says the case was worth looking into because it could have been a violation of anti-cruelty laws.
Just tying it behind it and maybe just walking it from here down the street isn't necessarily against the law. But depending on what he was doing it for, how long he had been doing it, how fast he was doing it, all that plays a factor into determining that.
Even though the horse owner did not necessarily break the law by pulling the horse with his car, we spoke with a vet who says walking with a horse or using a trailer is a much safer option.
I'm going to look at teeth.
Kelley Kays has run a veterinary clinic in Beaumont for almost 20 years. She often makes house calls like this one in North Beaumont. She says horses are a big part of her life.
They're wonderful to have around.
She doesn't understand why someone would use a car to pull an animal.
It's something a normal horse owner that's been educated well would never do.
Kay says there are times in which you'd use a rope to tie a horse.
We tie horses short to solid objects that aren't going to move, so that would be common, but to having them in a moving vehicle, it's just the danger all the way around.
Her suggestion to the horse owner who used the car?
He just needs to lead it by hand. He just needs to walk it by hand down the street.
In Beaumont, Megan Dillard, KFDM 6 News.
Investigators say the male horse is about 1 year old. Animal Services says the horse owner is violating a city code by keeping the animal too close to a residence. If the man doesn't remove the horse, he could face a fine of up to $500.